Hello, I'm Tomlin from Tomlin Harmonica School, and I'm going to show you how to make your harmonica growl like this. So you're going to need a C harmonica, 10-hole diatonic in the key of G. So we're playing it in second position in the key of G. And then I'm going to show you how to play a fun 8-bar blues lesson. But first, let's roll the intro. A growl is a lot easier than you might think. It's also called a double stop and basically consists of you playing 2 holes at the same time. And I'd suggest that you start with the 3/4 double stop, which will sound like this. What I'm doing is playing a clean 3-draw, and I'm allowing a little bit of the 4-draw to bleed into it. So I start with the 3, and then I push the harmonica in a little bit and open my mouth to the side a little bit more. Okay? If you open too wide, it's not quite as bluesy sounding. And if you want to make it even more bluesy sounding, you can bend it down a little bit like this. Then, to make it even more bluesy sounding, you can add some hand wah. Okay, let's try putting this in context with a fun 8-bar blues tune from my online harmonica school, so you can see how I teach my students over at tomlinharmonicaschool.com. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like and also see my hair magically grow longer. Okay, so you can click the link in the description below to download the tab and backing track for free. All you need to do is put your email address in and I'll send them to you. Now, let's learn lick number 1. Okay, so we're starting lick 1 just before the 8-bar sequence starts. So we're starting on beat 4 of the count-in. Or if you're repeating it, we're starting on beat 4 of bar 8. And we're starting with a double stop, 3/4 draw, but it's got a little half-step bend. And that's going to be a quarter note, and then a 2 draw on beat 1 of the next bar, so of the 1 chord. And then there's 2 beats rest, 2, 3, and then you repeat that double stop, and then play a 2 draw whole step bend on beat 1 of the next bar, which is where we change to a 5 chord. Okay, so that's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try that together nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 3, and again 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and again 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, now let's try it a little bit faster with the backing track. Right, let's move on to lick number 2. Okay, so the second lick follows the same kind of theme we established with the first lick, but we're moving into the 4 chord. So we're starting on that 3/4 draw half step bend, and then we're going to a 2 blow as we change to the 4 chord in bar 3. Then we've got a 4 blow on the next beat, and then 2 8th notes, 3 draw half step bend, 2 draw. So that's 1, 2, 3. and then a 1 beat rest, and then we repeat those last 3 notes again on beat 1 of the next bar, so bar 4. Okay, so all together that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try that together nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3. And again, 1, 2, 3. One more time slowly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's try that with the backing track at full speed. Right, now let's move on to lick 3. Okay, so we're going to break this third lick into 2 halves. So what's happening, this lick is starting over the 4 chord just after beat 3, and it's leading us into the 1 chord. So the first bit is the bit that leads us into the 1 chord. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was just on the offbeat between 3 and 4, all 8th notes, 1 draw, then 2 blow on beat 4, 1 draw on the offbeat, and then a 2 draw on beat 1 of the next bar, which is going into the 1 chord. Okay, so that's the first half of our lick. Then we have a 2 beat break, and the second half sounds like this. Okay, so that leads us into the 5 chord, and we're starting on beat 4 with a 3 draw, it's a quarter note, then a 4 draw on beat 1 of the 5 chord, so bar 6, and 4 blow on beat 2, and then we have 2 8th notes, 3 draw half step bend, 2 draw, and then bend down to a 2 draw whole step bend on beat 4, so that'll be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's try putting both halves of that lick together. I'll play through it once and then we'll play through it together. So 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, let's do that together now. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. And again, nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, one more time, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. All right, now let's try it with the backing track. Okay, let's have a look at that turnaround. Okay, so we're in the last 2 bars of this 8-bar blues, and we've got the turnaround, and we're going to be playing a sequence of quarter notes over the 1 chord, 2 draw, 3 draw half step bend, 4 blow, 3 draw half step bend. And then the actual little turnaround at the end. So that starts on beat 1 of the final bar, bar 8. We've got a 2 draw for a quarter note, and then 2 1 draws. And those are 8th notes. So that'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try doing that together nice and slowly now. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try that with the backing track. All right, now let's put it all together. Okay, so the most important thing with this whole 8-bar tune is making sure that you know how much space there is between each lick, you know where each lick is starting, and also you really focus on the notes that signal the chord changes. So we've got some root notes that are being used to signal chord changes, and we're also using a couple of other notes, so I'll talk through those as we get to them. So in the first lick, we're starting just before the 8-bar sequence starts, and the 2 draw is going to be the first note of the 8-bar sequence, and that announces the 1 chord. 2, 3. And then that 2 draw whole step bend is going to announce the 5 chord. Now that's not a note that's in the 5 chord, but it shows that there's a chord change. It's what's known as a flat third. It's quite a common note to play over a chord. So that's one to really make sure that you're hearing that with the chord change. Then in lick 2, when we go back to the 4 chord, the 2 blow is our note that signals that chord change. Because that's a note in the 4 chord. And then going between lick 2 and lick 3, we just have half a beat. So watch out for that when I do the playthrough all the way through. Lick 3 starts pretty quickly after lick 2. And then we've looked at the rests in the middle of lick 3, so I'm not going to go over that again. We have the 2 draw that announces that we're going into the 1 chord, and then we have the 4 draw that announces we're going into the 5 chord. And then the turnaround, that's the final 2 bars, and obviously we're going to end on the root note of the 5 chord. That's what makes it a turnaround, so that's why we're ending on a 1 draw at the end. So I'm going to play through that nice and slowly and count, and I want you to follow along by reading the music up on screen. So 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, so let's try that together nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Okay, now let's give that a go with the backing track. In a lot of ways it's a bit easier with the backing track because you can hear the chord changes, and that'll let you know whether you hit the right notes at the right time, but it's a little bit faster, so that's kind of evens out the difficulty a little bit. So let's give that a go with the backing track. I hope you enjoyed learning how to play that tune. I teach a whole bunch of blues tunes and techniques as part of my school curriculum over at TomlinHarmonicaschool.com. Now, if you want to learn some more cool blues, then check out my solo 12-bar blues chugging lesson up here.